Have you ever stopped to think about how life's challenges can be transformative? How we deal with pain, loss, and adversity is what defines our true essence. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "Difficulty is an opportunity to do what is right." This phrase resonates deeply in a world where many feel lost or overwhelmed. Stoicism, a philosophy that has survived for centuries, offers us valuable tools to face life's storms. In this video, we will uncover the secrets that the Stoics kept hidden for so long. Stoicism is not just a philosophical theory. It is a practical guide for life. It teaches us to cultivate resilience, control our emotions, and accept what we cannot change. In the world full of uncertainties, understanding and applying Stoic principles may be the key to transforming your life right now. Have you ever felt as if you were at the mercy of circumstances? Stoic philosophy invites us to look within and find strength in our own reason. Instead of letting difficulties bring us down, we can use these experiences as opportunities for growth and learning. What we can learn from Seneca and other Stoics is that true freedom comes from acceptance and mastery over our emotional responses. Throughout this video, you will discover how practicing Stoicism can help you develop a stronger and more balanced mindset. We will cover fundamental concepts such as the distinction between what we can control and what lies beyond our reach, as well as practical ways to apply these teachings in your daily life. You will see that serenity is not a state of inaction, but an active attitude that allows us to navigate difficulties with clarity and purpose. Imagine yourself facing your challenges with a new perspective, where every obstacle becomes an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. Stoicism teaches us to value small victories and find peace even amid chaos. By the end of this video, you will have a deeper understanding of how Stoic philosophy can positively impact your life, helping you build resilience and live more fully. Get ready for a transformation. Together, let's explore the teachings of Seneca and discover how applying these timeless principles can truly change your life. The journey begins now. Stoicism is a philosophy that was born in ancient Greece around the 3rd century BC and was consolidated in Rome, where prominent figures such as Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius became its main representatives. This school of thought proposed that virtue, understood as wisdom, was the highest good, and that happiness was intrinsically linked to the acceptance of reason and conformity with nature. Seneca, for example, emphasized the importance of living according to reason and cultivating inner peace, even in the face of life's adversities. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, highlighted the idea that we cannot control external events, but we can control our reactions to them. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, wrote his Reflections in Meditations, a personal manual on how to apply Stoic philosophy in everyday life, addressing themes such as the transience of life and the importance of self-confidence. Stoicism, which might seem like a distant philosophy, carries profound relevance for the modern world. In uncertain times like the ones we live in today, where economic, political, and social crises always seem to loom, Stoic teachings offer valuable tools for managing emotions and making decisions. People face problems such as anxiety, stress, and a sense of helplessness in the face of life's circumstances. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot, promoting a more balanced outlook on life. For example, in a world where bad news and negativity seem to dominate, many feel overwhelmed and powerless. Stoic principles can bring relief. The dichotomy of control, a central concept in Stoicism, helps us discern between what we can change and what we must accept. This reflective practice can be applied in various everyday situations, such as at work, in personal relationships, and in life in general. By recognizing that we cannot control others' actions or external events, but we can control our reactions and attitudes, we find a path to serenity. Imagine a scenario where you receive criticism at work. Instead of reacting impulsively and letting frustration or fear take over, Stoic philosophy suggests that you evaluate the situation. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, then the best approach is to accept the criticism as a learning opportunity without allowing it to disturb your inner peace. This change in perspective can transform how we deal with life's challenges and improve our resilience. Furthermore, Stoicism teaches us the importance of daily reflection. Seneca, in his letters, often spoke about the need to pause and evaluate our lives, behaviors, and thoughts. This habit of introspection helps us stay aligned with our values and focus on what truly matters. In a world that values speed and productivity, this pause for reflection can be a necessary antidote to stress and superficiality. Therefore, by uncovering the secrets the Stoics hid for centuries, we find a treasure of wisdom that can transform our lives. Stoic philosophy is not a magical solution, but a set of principles that guide us toward a fuller and more meaningful life. By applying these teachings, we can cultivate resilience in the face of difficulties, find peace amid chaos, and live more authentically. Stoicism invites us to look inward and seek the true source of happiness, which does not lie in external circumstances, but in how we respond to them. By adopting this mindset, we become stronger and more capable of facing life's challenges. Thus, by transforming these teachings into practice, we have the opportunity not only to understand, but to live Stoic philosophy in our daily lives. And by unveiling these secrets, we can truly transform our lives now and forever. The Stoic philosophy, with its roots in ancient Greece, offers profound wisdom that can be directly applied to modern life. One of the central concepts of this philosophy is the importance of virtue and wisdom. For the Stoics, virtue is not merely a moral trait, but the foundation upon which a full and meaningful life is built. Seneca, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, emphasized that true happiness does not come from wealth or status, but from the cultivation of virtues that allow us to live in harmony with ourselves and the world around us. Virtue, according to the Stoics, is the only thing that truly belongs to us. While everything else, wealth, power, and even health, can be taken away, our virtues and our ability to act wisely remain. This understanding can completely transform how we face life's challenges. When confronted with adversities such as workplace stress or personal conflicts, the practice of virtue and the pursuit of wisdom become powerful tools. For example, imagine a common scenario, a stressful day at work with tight deadlines and increasing pressure. In that moment, you may feel overwhelmed, but by reflecting on the importance of virtue, you can choose to act with calmness and clarity. Instead of letting pressure lead to impulsive reactions, you can opt to maintain composure, prioritizing tasks rationally and in balance. This approach not only improves your performance, but also transforms how you feel about the situation. The virtue of temperance, in this case, can help you avoid excesses and maintain composure, allowing you to handle workplace demands more effectively. Another practical example can be found in personal relationships. Conflicts are inevitable, but the virtue of patience can be a valuable guide. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, you can choose to actively listen to the other person, seeking to understand their perspectives and feelings. Cultivating the virtue of empathy can not only resolve disagreements, but also strengthen bonds and promote healthier communication. Wisdom, in turn, teaches us to choose our battles, recognizing that we do not always need to be right or win an argument to maintain peace. Stoic philosophers like Seneca believed that living according to virtue allows us to be in tune with nature and reason. This connection is fundamental because it helps us realize that many of our worries are, in fact, illusions we create in our minds. The practice of virtue leads us to a more authentic life, where we are guided by solid principles rather than volatile emotions. Reflecting on Stoic philosophy invites us to consider how we can apply these teachings in daily life. For example, upon waking in the morning, we might ask ourselves, how can I cultivate virtue today? This simple question can help guide our actions, reminding us that every small choice has the potential to bring us closer to a virtuous life. The practice of gratitude, for instance, is a way to cultivate virtue, as it helps us focus on what we have rather than what we lack. Furthermore, Stoic wisdom teaches us to accept what we cannot control. Many times, we worry about situations beyond our reach, such as the opinions of others or unforeseen events. True freedom comes from the understanding that we can control our reactions and attitudes, even when the world around us seems chaotic. This wisdom allows us to live more lightly, as we are no longer bound by unrealistic expectations. As we incorporate virtue and wisdom into our lives, we begin to to notice tangible changes. Adversities that once seemed insurmountable become opportunities. To practice patience, courage, and resilience, life transforms into a constant field of learning, where each challenge is a chance to grow and become better versions of ourselves. Stoic philosophy is not a magical solution for all problems, but it is a path that offers us practical tools to deal with life's difficulties. Seneca and his contemporaries remind us that true transformation begins within us. By cultivating virtue and wisdom, we not only improve our own experience, but also positively influence those around us. In this sense, the practice of Stoic philosophy becomes a form of art. It is an art that involves the ability to observe our emotions, understand our reactions, and choose the most virtuous response. Over time, this practice can become a habit, shaping our character and worldview. And thus, by unveiling the secret that the Stoics kept hidden for centuries, we find the key to transforming our lives. In the end, reflecting on the importance of virtue and wisdom leads us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our interactions. This journey is not only a pursuit of happiness, but a pursuit of meaning. Every act of virtue, every moment of wisdom brings us closer to our most authentic self and connects us more fully with the universe. Therefore, as we face daily challenges, may we always remember the Stoic lesson. True strength lies within us, in how we choose to live our lives. May we thus transform our existence through the continuous practice of virtue and wisdom. Emotional detachment is a central concept in Stoic philosophy, a principle that teaches us not to become excessively attached to things outside our control. Seneca, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, reminds us that life is full of uncertainties and that true value lies in our ability to handle these uncertainties in a balanced way. This leads us to the practice of emotional detachment, which can be a powerful tool for facing life's adversities. Imagine yourself in a situation where you lost something you deeply valued, such as a job, a relationship, or even an opportunity that seemed promising. It is natural to feel pain and discouragement in the face of such losses, but Stoicism teaches us that suffering often comes not from the loss itself, but from our reaction to it. By practicing emotional detachment, we can learn to observe our emotions without being dominated by them. This does not mean that we should ignore our feelings, but rather understand that they are temporary and do not define who we are. A practical example of this can be seen in everyday situations. Suppose you worked hard on an important project, and for some reason it was not well received. It is easy to be carried away by frustration and discouragement. However, by applying emotional detachment, you can acknowledge these feelings, but also understand that the value of your effort does not depend on others' approval. You can reflect on what you learned throughout the process and use that experience to grow and improve. This approach not only helps maintain calm in moments of disappointment, but also promotes a sense of resilience that is essential for personal development. Marcus Aurelius, another great name in Stoicism, exemplified this practice in his life. He faced numerous difficulties, from political crises to personal losses. In his writings, he frequently emphasized the importance of maintaining calm and focus regardless of external circumstances. For Marcus, emotional detachment was a way of freeing oneself from the chains that excessive expectations and desires impose on us. He believed that by detaching from what we cannot control, we gain the freedom to act more rationally and effectively. Check. Practice of emotional detachment also allows us to cultivate gratitude. When we let go of rigid expectations about how things should be, we open space to appreciate what we have. This does not mean we should be passive or resigned, but that we should accept reality as it is while striving for improvements. By valuing the present and the small things in life, we can find joy even in the most challenging situations. This change in perspective is one of the most valuable legacies the Stoics left us. In addition, emotional detachment helps us develop healthier relationships. Many times, we cling to people and their opinions, allowing them to influence our emotional well-being. Stoicism teaches us that while it is natural to desire others' approval, true inner peace comes from within. By practicing emotional detachment, we can connect with others more authentically, without depending on their validation to feel complete. complete. This results in more genuine interactions, less burdened by expectations. Thus, by integrating emotional detachment into our lives, we can face situations of loss and disappointment with a stronger and more resilient mindset. Stoic philosophy offers us a map to navigate life's difficulties. By detaching from what we cannot control, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and find a clearer path to inner peace. It is important to remember that the practice of emotional detachment is not something that happens overnight. It is a continuous process that requires self-reflection and practice. Begin by observing your emotional reactions in challenging situations. Ask yourself, what can I control here? And how can I respond to this in a constructive way? Over time, this practice will become more natural, and you will discover that you can face adversities with a new perspective. In summary, emotional detachment is a powerful tool that helps us face life's uncertainties with dignity and calm. By integrating this concept into your life, you can free yourself from the chains of unnecessary suffering and cultivate a state of inner peace. Remember the words of Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, who encourage us to live with wisdom and accept what we cannot change. The transformation you seek begins with the practice of emotional detachment. By adopting this philosophy, you not only become stronger in the face of adversity, but also more capable of living a full and meaningful life. Living according to nature is one of the fundamental pillars of Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches us to find inner peace in a world full of uncertainties and difficulties. When we talk about this concept, we are referring to the idea that we should align our actions and values with the natural order of the universe. This means understanding our place in the world and acting according to reason, rather than being carried away by uncontrolled emotions or external pressures. Nature, for the Stoics, is not only the physical environment around us, but also human nature, with its virtues and limitations. One of the main teachings of Seneca, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, is that living according to nature means accepting our role in life and acting with integrity and rationality. This invites us to reflect on how often we fight against circumstances, wishing things were different from what they really are. This inner struggle can lead us to frustration and unhappiness. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to accept what we cannot, change and focus on how we respond to these situations. Take, for example, the idea of accepting the inevitability of death. The Stoics believe that death is a natural part of life, and that fearing it only prevents us from living fully. By recognizing that we all have limited time, we can focus more on what truly matters, living with purpose and making the best use of our time. This acceptance allows us to act with greater clarity and determination, valuing every moment and every interaction. To live according to nature, it is also essential to act with integrity. This means being faithful to our principles and values regardless of circumstances. When we act according to our true nature, we become more authentic and consistent. This authenticity not only brings us inner peace, but also helps us build healthier and more meaningful relationships with others. When we are honest and transparent in our actions, we inspire trust and respect, both in ourselves and in the people around us. Rationality is another crucial aspect of this concept. The Stoics argued that we should use reason to guide our decisions and actions. This does not mean suppressing our emotions, but rather understanding and managing them in a healthy way. By applying reason in our lives, we can better discern what truly matters and what is merely fleeting. This clarity allows us to make wiser decisions and consequently live in a way that is more aligned with our true essence. Quotes from Stoic philosophers such as Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius help us reflect on the importance of living in harmony with nature. Epictetus, for example, teaches us that it is not things that disturb us, but our opinion about things. This reminds us that by changing our perspective, we can transform our experiences and thus live more calmly and balanced. Marcus Aurelius, in turn, advises us to keep the mind calm and in harmony with nature. This harmony is what allows us to face life's challenges challenges with courage and resilience. It is interesting to note that living according to nature also implies taking care of our environment and the relationships we cultivate. When we act consciously and responsibly, we contribute to a better world, not only for ourselves, but also for future generations. This aligns perfectly with the Stoic idea that we are part of a greater whole and that our actions have a significant impact. By adopting an attitude of respect and care, not only for ourselves, but also for others and the world around us, we find a deeper sense of life. The practice of meditation and daily reflection is a powerful tool to keep us in tune with nature. By dedicating time to contemplate our actions and thoughts, we can identify where we are drifting away from our values and principles. This self-knowledge is fundamental to Stoic practice because it allows us to correct our course and realign with nature. At the end of the day, we can ask ourselves, did my actions reflect my true nature? This simple question can guide us to a fuller and more meaningful life. In addition, the concept of living according to nature teaches us to cultivate gratitude. When we recognize and appreciate what we have, instead of focusing on what we lack, we gain a new perspective on life. Gratitude helps us value the small things and understand that happiness is not necessarily tied to great achievements, but to the way we relate to the world and the people around us. Therefore, when exploring the Stoic teaching of living according to nature, we are invited to adopt a more conscious and intentional approach in our lives. This involves accepting our role in the world, acting with integrity and rationality, and cultivating a deep respect for ourselves, for others, and for the environment. By doing so, we not only find inner peace, but also become agents of positive change in our surroundings. Ultimately, living according to nature is about harmonizing our desires and actions with the reality of the world. It is an invitation to embrace life as it is, with all its imperfections, and to seek virtue in every moment. With this perspective, we can face life's challenges with courage and resilience, transforming not only our own lives, but also the world around us. It is a journey that begins within us and radiates outward, touching the lives of others and contributing to a more meaningful and fulfilling existence. Throughout this video, we explored the teachings of Seneca and the secrets the Stoics kept. For centuries, you learned that Stoic philosophy is not just a set of abstract ideas, but a powerful tool that can transform your life. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control and to accept what we cannot. This shift in perspective is fundamental to facing everyday challenges with serenity and courage. By applying these principles, you can reduce anxiety, improve your relationships, and find a deeper purpose in your actions. Remember that the practice of gratitude and daily reflection on your emotions and reactions is essential to internalize these teachings. When faced with difficulties, ask yourself, is this something I can control? If the answer is no, release that concern and direct your energy toward what truly matters. The Stoics invite us to live according to reason and virtue, seeking the greater good and inner peace. Now it is time to put these teachings into practice. Start applying Stoic principles in your life today. Try dedicating a few minutes of a day to reflect on your actions and choices. See how this can change your mindset and consequently your life. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more valuable teachings. Leave your comment below about how Stoic philosophy has impacted your life, and share this video with friends who can also benefit from these ideas. To finish, remember Seneca's inspiring words: life is long enough and a life well lived is sufficient. May this reflection motivate you to seek a life of virtue and serenity, applying Stoic secrets to your daily journey. Transform your life now.